So a lot of the listeners here, they're women in affair relationships, holding on. They're often the mistress, the other woman, holding on to a relationship that's hurting them. They either want to end it and break it off, but feel powerless to do so, or they're hoping that he will leave, and he might be promising that he's leaving for so long, and they keep holding on, but nothing's actually changing. And so they feel, often these women are feeling completely depleted, and they don't know anymore what to do. They're feeling powerless. They've lost themselves. They don't even notice themselves, recognize who they've become. And so when you are feeling, and your listeners as well, if they're attracting or manifesting a man and not fully in their power, how do we start to come back to ourselves and rebuild our own self-worth when we're feeling completely depleted? Alrighty, welcome. Today we have Jaime on board, and I'm super excited to have you on, Jaime. Jaime is a relationship coach from LA. You still from LA at the moment?
Yes, I live in LA.
Beautiful. If you would be able to tell us a bit about yourself and what got you into relationship coaching. I'm just going to quickly say that today we're going to be discussing the topic of how to rebuild your self-worth when you completely feel like you're completely lost it or feeling depleted. It's so challenging when you're in a vulnerable place to make decisions within yourself when you're not even fully trusting your own ability to act on things. So we're going to be covering all of that today. And Jaime, welcome. Please tell us a
Thank you.
little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, so I love what I do. My name in French means I love, j'aime, J apostrophe AIME. So I truly feel like, I mean, it's my namesake. I feel like I was born to do this work, to work with love. I've loved love. It sounds cheesy, but ever since I was a kid, and now I've been practicing for 20 years, and I've been on this earth for 44 years. So I have a lot of experience with I feel like just even as a little girl, I just was always observing love. And my parents have been married for almost 50 years. No, they just celebrated 50 years of marriage.
That's
Happy.
beautiful.
So they've been an amazing mentor. I've been so used to saying like they're almost celebrating, and then they finally on the 22nd they just celebrated. So
That's so exciting.
I have my master's in social work, my undergraduate in psychology, and a certificate in spiritual psychology, which really has deepened the work that I do. And I work with clients all around the world because now we have this thing called Zoom, obviously. I have
But you're going
London.
to say this thing called COVID.
Oh, yes. Well, we have this thing called COVID. And because of that, it's been a blessing of it and sending so much light and love to all the souls that have passed on and to the people that are grieving. One of the positive things about what's been going on is that not just my profession, but a lot of professions have started to use Zoom to connect with people around the world.
Mm. Yeah, it's an incredible platform, and you can get equally as good results from online. Like a lot of people do want in person when they haven't had consulting over technology, but it's powerful. It works just as well.
Absolutely. And I'm such an in-person person that I
Yeah.
was a little worried at the beginning. However, now that this is going on for a year and a half, um, just the feedback that I get from my clients, even just a simple, oh my God, I didn't even realize this, or like thank you, it just means that it does work. It still works. And it doesn't matter if you're actually in person or not, but this work works.
Yeah, totally does. So tell us, like, what is the most exciting thing or the area that you love the most in your role?
So, well, I'm writing a book on manifesting love, which anybody who's going to be tuning in and watching this, because of the topic especially,
Yeah.
will it sounds like they would want to read my book, because my book about manifesting love is all about how it needs to start from loving yourself. Like it has to start there, because our outside experiences are a reflection of our inner reality. And the universe gives us what we focus on. So, a lot of the work that I do with my clients is focusing on what you do want, not what you don't want, or focus on what you do want, not on the fear of anything. Because if you're focused
Yeah.
on, let's say you do get into a relationship and you really are excited about it, you're not even consciously aware of it, but you're actually more focused on it ending, the fear of it ending, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So
Yeah.
I'm very big into spirituality, as I know all of your followers are as well. And so I know that this discussion will be speaking the same language.
100%. It's legit intertwined. It absolutely is. So so a lot of the listeners here, they're women in affair relationships, holding on. They're often the mistress, the other woman, holding on to a relationship that's hurting them. They either want to end it and break it off, but feel powerless to do so, or they're hoping that he will leave, and he might be promising that he's leaving for so long, and they keep holding on, but nothing's actually changing. And so they feel, often these women are feeling completely depleted, and they don't know anymore what to do. They're feeling powerless. They've lost themselves. They don't even notice themselves, recognize who they've become. And so when you are feeling, and your listeners as well, if they're attracting or manifesting a man and not fully in their power, how do we start to come back to ourselves and rebuild our own self-worth when we're feeling completely depleted?
Yeah. So, every situation is so different
Mm.
because there are some situations where a relationship starts out as, let's say, a mistress. I think mistress sounds like, it just sounds a little like negative, but let's say somebody who's dating somebody who's in a relationship or married,
Yeah.
already. And sometimes those people do end up together and because they're meant to be.
Yeah.
It sounds like the people that we're talking about, the viewers, are, it's not healthy. And so like they've lost themselves, and this probably is not a good relationship for them. And the guy probably isn't never going to actually leave. So we'll go with that for now. So the first step, I mean, it sounds so simple, but the first step that I use with my clients is I have them make a list of their top 10 qualities. I am funny. I am lovable. I am creative, I'm adventurous, okay, whatever it is, and you look at it before you go to sleep at night. Because the problem, because in our sleep state, you integrate things, and
Yeah.
so that's one step to getting back to yourself.
Yeah.
And you can even say before you go to sleep tonight, you can talk to spirit, you can talk to the universe and say, please show me in a way that I can understand how I can connect more with myself. I'm feeling lost. I'm feeling like I've lost myself.
Such a
And
beautiful
so,
affirmation.
yeah, and these things work. We are
Yeah.
co-creators of life. And so it's about having constant communication with the universe and knowing that you are held, knowing that you are loved. But like I said, that first step to rebuild yourself and to remind yourself of who you are seems simple, but it is a practice of looking at that list every night before you go to sleep and then making those bedtime intentions.
Yeah, I love that strategy. That is beautiful. And really coming back to the empowering places within. Because when we're coming from feeling powerless, it's so easy to direct our focus to the fear, to the what's going wrong. So it's like redirecting it back into the empowering place and putting our focus onto that.
Yeah, and the truth is we all have this empowerment, this power, this strength of heart. I say
Yeah.
strength of heart because it's the feminine of courage, and it's
Yeah.
the strength of heart within. We all have that within. It's a matter of getting past whatever is blocking it, like the negative narratives, I'm not worthy of love, I'm not capable. Throwing that out the window and saying what the truth is. The truth is I am more than capable of love, and I am more than deserving of love. It's my birthright. And so I came to this earth to get it, and I'll get it.
Yes, absolutely. Beautiful. I love that. Okay, another question that I have is for your lady or people. So you work with men and women, right? I often work with women specifically.
My book is for women.
Oh, is it?
I tell
Okay.
you the title, but it's for a woman who wants to manifest a man. But that's all I'm going to say right now. We're gone.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, my question was when they're feeling it, either the people that you're working with in manifesting a man, or people in affair, secretive relationships, and they're unsure if this is the right situation to be in. Do I keep trying? Do I keep trying to make this work, or do I need to walk away? How do we determine what is our internal guidance, our intuition, and what is fear? How, because often we've got those two voices in our head and they're both like conflicting decisions. So how do we determine which voice is which?
So many things. The first thing I want to say is when you close your eyes, do you feel like this is a sacred yes? Does it make you feel good? Do you feel inside, in your heart, in your integrity, using your intuition? Do you feel like this is the right thing for you to be doing? Do you feel more days filled with love, or do you feel more days filled with fear and angst? So, and we are the experts of ourselves. We're the only ones who truly know what is best for us. If you're finding that, and it's such a good question because I get this all the time, like, how do I discern between my intuition and fear, or like intuition and unresolved issue? And to me, you know, our intuition is a muscle that once you just start practicing, it's just like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I say you close your eyes, you connect with yourself, and you ask yourself, do I feel like this is good for me? Do I feel like this feeds my soul? Do I feel like I'm fulfilled from this relationship? Or every time I see this man, after I see him, because while we're together, it's great, but after I see him, does my heart hurt? You know, like, if there's that knowing inside that he's never actually going to be yours, and you are never actually going to be his, and it's never actually going to be real, like a thing where you guys are each other's priorities. If you feel that way, and that's just not healthy, and it's just preventing you from finding the guy that you're supposed to be with. You know, it's everything, we're all made up of energy, and what it's doing is it's sucking energy from you and taking space in your heart and your mind and your soul for the guy that you're supposed to be with to actually come in.
Absolutely, absolutely. If they're in a place where they tune into that internal guidance and it is feeling like, no, this isn't aligned with me, but every part of their body wants to move towards it, how do we break those ties?
It's so funny. I just had a client the other day, and she's in a situation where she knows the guy is not good for her, but literally her words were, but I love the sex. Is that enough? Like, that's enough. Is that enough to keep the relationship? That's enough. Is that enough? Like, it was really funny. She was like saying, like, that's enough for a relationship, is it? Like, in the same, she was like therapizing herself a little bit. Yes. So sex, our bodies, that those good feelings, the oxytocin, the hormones can be very intoxicating, like a drug. So it's very hard to break away from that. And also it can be even especially difficult when the man, when you're with him, is feeding you compliments. Oh my God, you're so hot. You make me feel so good. Like, we're sending you texts. I want you. Can you come over? It's very intoxicating. You know, it's very, it draws you in. So it takes a lot of strength of heart. I'm using that word again versus courage. Strength of heart to say no, to say yes to yourself. Because this is another concept that I work with a lot, is if you stay with a man that you know is not right for you, and you know that there's a better man out there for you, first of all, say to the universe, please, universe, bring me this or something better for the highest good of all concerned.
Yeah.
But my point is that a lot of women are in lack mentality and scarcity mentality versus abundance, where sometimes it sounds so skewed, but you might be thinking to yourself, is there better for me? You know? But if this is not fulfilling you, if it's not in integrity with your heart and your soul, and you're not feeling very good internally, externally, everything, well, you're feeling good externally, physically, we already went over that, but you're not feeling good in your heart and not feeling peace in your heart, then that it's a no. And the truth is that there are an abundance of men out there, but you just have to tell yourself that you know that, so that the universe can hear that and bring him to you.
Yes, I love
This is
that.
my book.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
so much.
so when is this book coming out?
Oh, so literally right now I am publisher shopping, and so as soon as I get that publisher, that book deal, I don't know, in the next year or two, but I don't plan, I trust. And so whenever, in divine timing, whenever that book is supposed to be ready, I will definitely let you know, so you can let your followers know.
Please let us know, because I'll link it in all of these videos.
Also, do you know what? I will I can send you a free gift, which is 7 days to manifesting love. You'll get an email for 7 days, and when you sign up for that, you'll automatically be on my my newsletter, so you can get my updates.
Beautiful. We would love that. I'll put that also in the link below. So if you'd like a link to that, it is down below. So for the women that are in that situation, their body's saying no, no, except when
The
it says
body's
yes.
saying yes.
Yeah, your body's saying yes in the moment, but when you walk away, it's feeling like it's a no. How do you when all of oxytocin, everything is drawing you towards him, how do you, like, what things can we do, what tools can we use, or people we can turn to build the strength up so that we can have that strength when we feel like we've lost ours and want to go back?
Yeah, and I love that you said people, because sometimes people, especially in the situation, feel alone, but the truth is no one's ever alone. We are held by the universe. Now, support, help, like reach out to someone like me. I'm more than happy to help you. It does help to have a coach or a therapist, to someone to be accountable to, someone to check in with every week or however often you want to go to remind you of your worth. Now, if you choose to not go that route, because a lot of people don't, that's okay. It's reminding yourself every day, every time your ego, your mind is spewing out the lies of fear. Well, there's not going to be anybody else, so you better go. Like whatever it's saying, you need to have a talk with yourself and say, that's not true. Then you put your hand to your heart. What is the truth? The truth is that this is not good for me. The truth is that I am worthy of so much more.
Yeah.
So you have to catch yourself. And in psychology, it's called like self-talking, but in spirituality, I like to say it's compassionate self-forgiveness. So you say, I forgive myself for buying into the misinterpretation that there is not another man for me. What is the truth? The truth is that there is the right man out there for me. Or I forgive myself for buying into the misbelief that I'm unlovable. The truth is that I am lovable.
I love these affirmations. Are they going to be in your book?
They're definitely in the book, and they're also in the 7 days of every day for 7 days. Whoever signs up will get an affirmation and an exercise.
Beautiful. I think everyone will just be on. That's so powerful. And when we repeat them and actually feel into that energy, that's when everything shifts.
Yes, exactly. Shifting the perspective, your lens of perception. Another thing is that another tool is I want you guys to communicate with your inner child, the little one inside who maybe is feeling like they're not getting taken care of by you. Like, and there are ways you can do this. You can write a letter to the little one inside and communicate with that little one inside and work together, because that little one inside just wants to play and have fun and be loved and love and be as carefree as possible. And so tap more into that playful, joyful energy.
Yeah.
And that will also remind you, because it sounds like these clients, these people that are following you, their lives are heavy, dramatic.
Yeah.
So bring back the fun and the lightness, because it never has to end in life.
That is so true. That is so true. Can we just rehash over what our inner child is and how do we spot that and how do we look for it, if we haven't ever really built a relationship with our inner child or know what that is?
Yeah, so there are so many ways to do this. If you want to do it through a meditation, you can Google like connecting with my inner child meditation. Or even if you don't do that, it's very, very simple. If you just close your eyes, you connect to a time in your life where you were happy, where you were joyful, where you were carefree. And wherever that age was, you can see what you were wearing. So that's kind of like your avatar. That's the little girl. At that age, that's the one you want to be communicating with.
Yeah.
And we do something called gestalting, which simply means where you have a conversation, and you can do this as a writing process. Or if you do have a coach or therapist where you sit in one chair and you talk to the inner child and then you talk back, like where you literally
Yeah.
do that also. So it can be
Yeah.
a writing process, like, hi, little Jamie, how are you doing today? And then you just start a conversation. Little Jamie, I want you to know that I'm here for you and that we're going to do this together. And then hear what little Jamie has to say. Like, you want to hear Kate, hear what little Kate has to say about everything. I'm feeling lonely. You've forgotten about me. Like, I want to have fun. Like I don't want to be doing this anymore. I want to be feeling good. Like, so you listen to that inner child, because our inner children, our inner child is so wise.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
There's another. Oh, yeah. Continue.
you can do the same thing with your like 85-year-old self.
Tell me more about that.
It's the same thing. Obviously we don't know what they look like. We know what the little one looks like, but that it's fascinating because our inner child is wise, and in a different way our 85-year-old is wise also,
Yeah.
because it's already happened. So same thing, just do that dialogue and hear what that 85-year-old you has to say. Any wisdom or knowledge.
I love that. That would be so interesting. I haven't ever heard of that, and it'd be so interesting to hear the different perspectives that each part of ourselves has to share, bring up.
And on top of that, one more thing is that I do, if you want to take it a step further, I do intuitive readings, psychic readings, mediumship readings, where I connect with people that have passed on in your life. I also connect with your spirit guides. And so if you're interested in that, I do those sessions as well, just to help you get a boost of guidance as well.
Beautiful. And I'll link Jamie's link down below so that you can see all the services that you offer on your website. With the inner child techniques that you can do, another one is simply placing a childhood photo in your mirror in your bathroom and actually being like, good morning, and acknowledging it each morning, knowing that that child is within you.
Yes, I love it. When we were in spiritual psychology school, we had this day where everybody brought a baby picture. It was a baby or any type of picture from when you were little. And there were like 200 of us. And we went around in this circle. They somehow managed to do this where, like, for 20 seconds or a minute or something, you would stop and stare at somebody else. You would hold your picture right here, and you'd be able to look at the other person's picture, and you'd go around, and every one of your classmates got to see the little you. It was so beautiful. And then we also did a process of talking to our inner child, to that baby. You look at the picture and you write and you cry, and it's just so beautiful because children, babies, we came to this earth, as these innocent, beautiful souls, and we still are these innocent, beautiful souls.
Yeah.
But now it's just time to get back to ourselves after relationships, after life, after everything has gotten in the way. But the truth is that everything has happened for a reason, and everything that life happens for us, not to us. So if you can learn something from everything that has happened in your life, you're good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I want to ask you one more question before we wrap it up. And that is, when there's so many voices outside telling us what we should do, or like friends, opinions, perspectives, society's beliefs, family beliefs, everything, how do we quieten the noise outside or be able to hear that noise and digest it, see where it sits with us. But how do we determine the difference between the external and the internal?
Yeah. So I have in my book, I have an image of this girl and she's sitting up against a tree in her front yard, and surrounded in the whole front yard is society or family or friends, like all the voices. And just across the street, standing right by himself, is her man. And so that is the image, because that's what happens so often. So first I would say, don't ask for advice from everybody in your whole life, because
Yeah,
it just gets too overwhelming.
it
And then
does.
it gets you farther away from yourself. So
Yeah.
pick one friend, pick one friend who loves you unconditionally. You're both vulnerable with each other. It's like this mutual thing. Talk to a therapist or a coach, but then just look inside, but let's say you've already asked everybody, you're in a place where it sounds like your question is like,
Not
okay, but
necessarily ask people, but like even with infidelity, gosh, there's so many people that have been cheated on and they've been hurt by it. This society's beliefs around the word. And so when people are in those situations, they have their own judgment of themselves for being in that situation, which is external, even if they haven't so-called spoken to someone. But we've got all those beliefs outside of us that we look to often unconsciously. And how do we, come back within?
So then you use compassionate self-forgiveness again. You say, I forgive myself for buying and for judging myself as bad or wrong. Whatever you're judging yourself as. What is the truth? I was always doing the best I can. I am always doing the best that I can. Things like that, where you're very gentle with yourself. And I'm glad that you did bring up judgment, because it's all about forgiving ourselves, and but it's first about identifying that judgment. What is the judgment?
Yeah.
And it is hard, especially if society, social media, if people know what's going on and you feel like you're like this pariah or the social pariah, like, or this martyr or something, to do this work. To remind yourself that that's just someone's perspective. But as long as you are loving yourself and you know your truth and you do this work and you feel strong inside and know that you were doing the best that you could, that's all that matters. And the truth is that when people judge something like this, someone cheating or someone being in a relationship like this, it's so unfortunate, because no one knows what they would do if they were in the situation also. Like, when you're a little girl, you're not like, ooh, I want to grow up. I want to be in a relationship with a man who is not available. Like, for that.
Yeah.
But it happens. So what can I learn from this? And usually the answer is, I need to learn to love myself more.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. Oh, thank you so much, Jamie. I really appreciate our time together. Before we close it up, do you want to share anything more about on this topic?
I would just say to trust your intuition, to honor your voice, to trust what you're hearing inside, and to remind yourself that life is short. And so if you truly do want to be with that man that you're supposed to be with, then do whatever you can to wrap things up, like to do this work, to move on, to love yourself. Because you don't want to be 85 and then all of a sudden feel like you didn't really live your life. And this goes for everything, whether it's a relationship or anything. Remind yourself that life is short. And I think that we've all been reminded of that because of COVID. Be in your joy, be in your love, constantly ask yourself, is this the loving choice or is this the fearful choice? Because everything in life is either love or fear. So
Absolutely.
Be in your loving, give love, be love, embody that love and light that you are. Shine the light, find that light. It didn't go anywhere. It's still there.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I'll link your website and the 7-day course below. And is there any other resources that you want to share? What's your Instagram?
My Instagram sounds easy, but it's the relationship expert, but there's no E in expert. So it's just the relationship letter XPERT.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Awesome.
And website is actually therelationshipexpert.com spelled out the way.
The full thing.
So easy.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate having you.
Thank you. And seriously, anybody who, if you resonate with this, please reach out to me. I'm happy to do sessions with you. Like I said, I have clients in Australia and London and all over the United States and even China. So no matter where
Everywhere.
you
So location is not a problem at all.
are, you're wrong.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Namaste.
Bye for now.